Welcome to the Nerdtastic in 3D podcast.
It's Nerdtastic in 3D. Oh, it's Nerdtastic in 3D. Yes, it's Nerdtastic in 3D. It's Nerdtastic
in 3D. Bong.
No video.
There is video.
Oh!
Is it going?
Oh,
yeah, it's
wrong?
going. Blinking.
Put in my place.
Got the old remote control.
It just turned off.
No, it's
I'm just kidding.
I'm not happy.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Oh,
welcome
Jack's
to
controlling with
Nerdtastic
his
in
phone.
3D, episode number 52.
Cinco dos. It feels so good.
Oh, I've missed that.
We are an entertainment industry podcast full of entertainment industry veterans talking about anything and everything that we find entertaining and or nerdy. My name is Jason Carter.
Jason Pecco.
Josh the Brat.
Sean Fennell.
Sean Kearney, Adam McFarland.
Thanks for
Jack
coughing over
Geckler.
my name.
Yeah.
Jack Eckler, it is good to have you back.
It is
He's
good
back.
to be back.
So,
like, legitimately.
We got to start this off right. We have been delaying any official announcement.
I'm laughing because of the last time, but you were like,
How have we
I don't really want to
delayed
announce
official
this, but I'm going to talk for a while about it, but not really announce it.
Well, we haven't announced any details. So we've told everybody that you recently became a father again. So
Of a
congratulations.
human baby.
I
We told
did
people
listen.
It was human.
I did listen to that episode going, why is he not just saying?
Well, we wanted you to
let
be
you do it.
I wanted you to be the one to
You're the
share
daddy.
the good news. So let us on. How'd it go?
How'd it go?
I wanted to wait.
Yeah.
You didn't know that was coming to you. You just decided, let me put some goldfish crackers in my mouth.
He just thought that you
Right about the time I'll be
I was
talking
so
about
good.
my new
I
ones.
was
Suck
so
'em,
good
suck
when
'em.
they touch your lips. I am the proud father of a healthy little baby girl, Brooklyn Michelle Geckler. She started 8 pounds 6 ounces, dropped it, and now she's back up. Now that it's week 2 since little baby came into the world, she's awesome, dude. She's on the boob 24/7, so that's new. Dylan wasn't like that, so I get like 3 or 5 minutes
Been
with
there.
her, where she's like happy.
been there.
Done that.
Did you say on the boob?
Oh yeah, dude. She
Sounds
literally
good. It sounds good, but
know.
it's really just mostly a pain in the butt. Like as an adult.
Once again.
she likes to nurse a lot.
I thought you said on the boot. I didn't know what that meant. And then I was like,
That's what they
Hey,
say when
baby's
they
on the
mean
boob.
boob.
I thought
It's
you
like,
were.
it's like on the wagon.
Yeah, I thought you were implying she was an alcoholic.
I don't know.
No,
Kids these days.
she's like I get like 3 to 5 minutes with her where she's sort of chilling, having fun, and then she went
to the
back
boot.
on the boot. Which is new. Dylan wasn't like that. Dylan was like I could help a lot and we split responsibilities and stuff. So this is a little new ground for me. I can't help as much but change diapers. But she's
Have you offered?
She's awesome.
Have you offered your boob?
she seriously. If you sat her on your chest, I don't care what you are. You could be any species. If she says she's on your chest,
You could be any species.
she's going
you
to
want
something.
Jack's boob.
Yeah.
She's going to something. Thank you, Sean. Yes. No. She tried to gnaw my arm off. She like rolled over a little bit. I'm like, oh, sweetheart.
Gum. It was
And then
probably
she
more of
just
a gum,
turned
though.
and latched into my arm. I'm like, okay, your suction powers are ungodly. Get off
Exactly.
me.
it's like a leech.
I'm going to get in trouble.
Get
Swear
off.
she did this. Uh-huh.
That hickey up on my shoulder came from my child. Get off me.
Well, congratulations
On
to
my
you
shoulder.
and the wife.
Thank you. I sincerely missed you gents. Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
We missed you too. We weren't quite sure what to yell out in Spanish. So at one point, I think
No,
Sean,
I knew
Sean Kearney
Kearney,
just
yeah. No,
announced a read.
I knew if I wasn't here, Kearney would step up with
I got your back.
with wrong
I'm the
Hispaniola.
backup, though. I got
Did
the,
you?
I got
Did you throw
6-0
something in?
because he was
I did
here
hear it,
2 weeks ago. I
6-0.
think.
Pecco's usually on the boot.
I feel though, I feel like there were some big discussions though that I missed out on. I felt
Nah.
like I was like Dan, who's
Nah.
always one of the listeners, who's like, I always want to chime in on the conversation with you guys.
Now you can in the forum.
Hey, brother, I commented back on the drinking thing.
Yup.
Wanted to talk about that, so I said, fuck it, I'll
Yup.
just put it on the
I
forum.
spent some time on that one.
and
good
then
question.
what was the other one? My job almost being lost at DreamWorks.
Yeah,
That would've been nice to
Got
hear
no
your
shout out
opinion
on
on
that.
We only needed a couple.
Ironically enough-
DreamWorks input.
Ironically enough, while I'm at the hospital, I get this message from Josh. Shit's gone down. Big meetings. I don't know if we have jobs. Okay, dude. What? So I call him.
Kind of just had a baby.
No, I called him and he broke it down. I'm like, I need to make some more calls, dude.
Yeah.
So literally, as soon as I hung up with him, I called my department manager. I'm like, hey, dude, hey, man, I'm just having here. Everything's going great. Tell me I got a fucking job. I was very blunt.
Oh yeah.
And
Sometimes you gotta be.
luckily, like Sean said, our department didn't get hit, so it was good. But what the fuck? We suck to go out to have a baby, and you come back, you're like, hey, you don't have a job.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah, that'd be the worst.
Congratulations.
That's certainly not a nice thing to hear while you're out bonding with your child, right?
I did hear today, and I know you guys didn't talk about one of the guys we worked with. They did give though. This isn't privy. It's just kind of awesome that they did this to some employees who. So if anybody was hating on DreamWorks for not hooking anybody up, one of the guys who was in me and Sean's department at TD, who was on a 6-month sabbatical on his own accord, he actually wanted a year off, and they were like, "Dude, you can't just take a year off." They called him at his house like this month. He was like 3 months in or something like that. They're like, "Yeah, we gotta let you go, but here's the deal, dude. We'll pay you for We'll go ahead and pay you for a year, and you get to keep your benefits, you get bonuses, or we'll just give you a lump sum. Whatever you want, Sal. What do you want to do? I'll go ahead and just keep getting paid for a year. Thank you. And I don't have to come in. Oh no. Just we'll pay you for the year, and then you're done. Okay." They ended up doing that for I think now I've heard 4, and one of which who's taking it to just go back to school and calling it the DreamWorks Scholarship Fund. So they did
Don't make no sense.
So they did pay some people out. So that was at least good to hear. Not everyone.
4 out of 560 that lost.
I
their
think the
job.
term
Or
people.
more, actually.
I think the term people got paid out. But then again, I was privy to sitting in HR the other day. A dude walked in holding his badge, not knowing where he was going. HR walked up to be like, "Do you need help?" He's like, "Yeah, who do I give this to?" And they're like, "You leaving?" He's like, "Yeah, thanks, 16 years. Handed it off and walked away. I was like, and then there was that. So, yeah, it was a
16
gut
years.
check.
Never had to go to HR. Didn't even know
He
where
didn't
it
know where the
was.
hell he was doing. He was walking around. And they like, Sally's like, can we help
Probably
you,
making
sir?
a bit of a scene too.
Were they?
No, when he said that, he literally was like, 16 years, thanks. Threw it at him and fucking walked out.
And then he
like
started
was
Harlem
not
Shaking.
Can't watch it.
Did they do the security escort thing or?
He walked away. I don't know if they tracked him down. I mean, I've only heard the security thing with our old
yeah.
boy, and they didn't even do security. They
Our old
They said,
sociopath.
go ahead and go home for the afternoon, and then they just shut all the gates on him and locked all his shit out.
Disabled his ID and everything. Yeah.
That was the best security move ever. No, dude, no. Go home for the day, man. It's cool, man. We'll be ready when we
Go
get back. As I
home.
look at the security guy, I'm like, yeah, go home for the day, dude. It's
Go
it's
home,
cool. Go
take
rest.
a nap,
Get back. He's like, hey,
make a
hey, man, my
fluffernutter.
security,
He's like
my
standing outside
security
the door, right?
doesn't work. And they're like, yeah, that ain't gonna work no more, dude.
You're gonna find your stuff in a box in the corner. Why don't you just go walk down and grab that?
I think they did that. I think they brought it out.
They just threw it over the fence.
He was kind of psychotic though, so
Probably
they covered their ass.
He
by doing
allegedly
this.
broke equipment in the studio and stuff like that. There was
We
just
should talk.
bad
We
things.
should. I know it's. You shouldn't badmouth anybody, but I kind of. We should tell that story on here one time because it's just. It goes back to what me and you talked about at the house. How I said I wanted to talk about industry personalities, including the game industry and any entertainment job or maybe any job. Period. How much personality plays to one having a decent job and then two keeping your job. Because that was a big deal.
And the
even
fact
on this
that-
layoff.
The fact that we interview just to see if people are cool to work with, like by the time we hit the interview stage, we know enough about whether they can do the job that the only reason we're interviewing them to see is if they can,
They're a culture fit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And all you have to do to be a culture fit at Disney Mobile is pretty much chew gum.
I am.
I could
am
do
the
that.
culture at Disney Mobile.
I fit in.
Yeah.
I am Disney Mobile. This sounds like a commercial advertising the development.
Hi, I am Disney
Hey,
Mobile.
funny you should say that because I believe I might have some pictures of Jason Pecco in some advertising for Disney Mobile.
Oh,
Or for Disney internships in general.
Your tattoos are welcome here at Disney Mobile.
Yeah.
I am diverse. All right.
Is that what it was?
I am diverse.
It honestly is. He's in there.
Hey, I do remember
It's
us
so
being in a
good.
commercial at DreamWorks that they were shooting. Do you remember that?
Thanks, HP.
Thanks, HP.
Oh, that's right. We did do that.
We were those guys.
We sold our souls.
I believe the last video I was in was a CNN reporting on DreamWorks, and I was playing ping pong in the background.
Yeah, you were working.
Oh yeah,
Josh
I've
was
been.
in one
I've
of
been.
those.
Oh, I
I've been in
remember
3
that.
of those videos.
There Josh is again.
There I
not
am.
working.
Yeah.
I like
How
Let's
you
keep
made
him
it through
around.
the cuts,
Yeah.
I don't
That
know.
makes sense. What was great too is when I was playing, we would sit there and we were actually trying to play, and the cameraman's like, actually, with you switching up like serving and then him serving, like it's really going to screw up my cutting. So can you just do the same thing?
We must have been on the same one.
Were
I
you
think.
fake? There was no
You might
ball.
have.
You
guys
were.
are playing
You
each
were
other.
because I was standing next to the table while that shit
Because I
was
remember
going
that
down.
guy
Was there
saying,
no
like,
ball?
"Hey,
Did you
can
get
you
to
just
fake
keep
it?
serving?" And I'm like, "I guess."
I was
Still
like,
really painful.
we'll
do it in
that
post.
was one.
Like,
Fix
I'm
the
out
ball
of
in
this.
We'll fix the ball in
Was
post.
the ball
Just
too
serve.
annoying for the sound, so you just said
Josh
fake
is
it?
like,
We're Forrest Gumping
Exactly.
this bad boy.
I've been in 2 other ping pong ones, and one I was playing foosball.
Now the pieces were about ping pong, or were they about working at
No, they were about
DreamWorks?
working at DreamWorks, and I was always in the background, like playing ping pong. or
we
doing
don't lay
foosball.
anybody off. We work all day.
Any creative place, there's like, yeah, we just have fun all the time. We don't really work around here. Like in one of the videos I did for Disney, they were like, oh, we want to get you riding your scooter down the hallway. I was like, yeah, okay. I haven't ridden my scooter in
Ever? I
Because
don't even have a scooter.
Yeah, this isn't even mine.
do I get one for free?
So are you saying, we're saying to all the listeners out there, if you see someone having fun in a promotional video,
That's
it's
not
not true.
Oh, look, the tattoo king ride a scooter down the hall.
Yeah, they hire tattooed people and let them ride scooters. This is a circus.
But everybody's in the promotional image.
awesome.
Everybody's sitting on chairs, and Pecco is got the chair turned around like AC Slater. and
Nice.
Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
Of course he
So
does.
good.
The
Look,
be-
Ma, I got a job.
But the best part about that is they took that picture of me by myself and just like sit on the chair backwards, and then they superimposed it
Yes.
with everybody else who's
Oh,
not
that's
sitting.
awesome.
Because they were concerned about your ability to take a picture with others.
Yeah.
You
Was
are
it on the eyes and
Fonzie.
ears? Was it on the front of eyes and ears? Like the big Disney
No,
company?
no. It's just
No,
on the
it's,
internship
That would have been
pamphlet.
awesome.
If
The
you-
Global magazine.
If you're in college, you get a picture of Pecco to try and like
Oh, that's awesome.
promote jobs at Disney,
Nice.
internships.
Speaking of promotional image, I was at the Galleria in Glendale this weekend, and I went into the Apple store there, and I set the
This was
podcast on every single iPad I could get my hands on that weren't being used.
Gorilla.
So I
That's so
just
awesome.
I beg all of our listeners to go into any local iPad store, Apple store, if you happen to be there. Just put the podcast on a
What
couple
do you
of
call it?
places.
You called it like nerd
podcast bombing. Yeah.
Are we on the Zune? I'd encourage anybody to go into the Windows store.
Yes.
Put on the
Yeah,
Zune.
hey,
And-
we're not specific to Apple, right? Like if
No,
someone wants to
yeah,
go
we
into
put
Best
it
Buy,
anyway.
hey, we'll
Yeah.
give you props.
You want to
But
go
only
into
do it on Apple
Sprint,
products.
put it on some of their phones, whatever.
Remember the weekly challenges? We'll give you extra bonus points towards those.
There you go.
That though was so awesome because Josh, were you at the house right? And the tech
Oh,
team
yeah.
there was like, you just
I
see
was with
fucking
I was with
pedals
Jason.
check.
I
We
was
both laughed at
laughing
the same time.
so hard.
Yeah, it was
don't-
pretty good.
We don't want any poor people with Windows phones listening.
I used to do a thing with Apple stores, and I still have them in my phone book. So when the iPhone 4 first came out, they had the front-facing camera, and so they wanted to advertise FaceTime. And so what they would do is they would have they'd have a desk filled with phones, and on one side it would have a big sign that said 1, and on the other side it would have a big sign that said 2. And then you'd go in the phone book and you could call, like from phone 1, you could call phone 2, and you could FaceTime and go, oh, that's funny. Well, what I realized is they were just putting real phone numbers, like these all had cell plans, and they were putting real phone numbers and setting them to speed dial. So whenever I was in an Apple store, and I have them in Apple stores at the Glendale Galleria, in Santa Barbara, and in Las Vegas, I would go in, and the first time I went to the one in Glendale, I just wrote down the number, and then I called it. And I FaceTimed it. And every once in a while, you'll get someone who will pick it up because they'll say, like, FaceTime connecting. And so you get random people at the Apple store would just pick it up and be like, what? And I'd be like, oh, hey, how's it
You
going?
invented chat roulette.
Yeah, it was basically chat. But the best was that then I got smart. So the one in Vegas, I had it. I entered my phone number into their address book and saved it as Apple HQ. And I used to call from work and tell people that they had won the iPhone that they're holding, and that they should just walk out of the store right now with that iPhone because it is theirs.
Oh my god, that's awesome! Oh my god! Oh my god!
I won it. And then I would also, when I'd go to the Apple store, because you can connect to their Wi-Fi.
Oh god, dude, that's so awesome.
I would connect to their Wi-Fi, and I'd call from just outside the mall, and I'd be like, I can see you. Or like just outside the Apple store, just looking through the glass. I'd be like, hey, how's it going? I'm looking at you right now. And I'd like totally creep people out.
Just to like, Go ahead and take that. You won it.
Sean made one of those calls the first week of work after he hired me. From work, made one of those calls.
That was how I'd open every meeting. Like, if we were in a meeting with people, I would be like, hey, guys, check out this thing that I started doing. Like, it didn't matter if it was the president of the company. I'd be like, no, check out this stupid thing. And everybody, like, people just bonded over the fact that we could prank call the Apple Store. It was amazing.
So would somebody always pick up?
It usually took, like, 2 calls to get somebody. So the first time you do it, it would, like, ring forever and then no one would pick up. And then the second time, somebody would pick up. But a lot of times, someone would hit answer and then walk away. And those were the best because then all you'd see is, like, because it's at about, like, person level, you just see people walk by. And so I'd start yelling. And so you help me! Double takes.
I'm stuck in the phone.
You'd have to make a mock set for, like, nothing else. I don't know where I'm at.
It was super fun, and I came across the phone numbers because they're, like, still in I just have, like, a whole thing in S that's just Apple Store, Apple Store, Apple Store. And I called a bunch of them, and I don't think they've gotten rid of those phones.
They've caught on here.
Yeah.
So if you happen to be in a Best Buy or Fry's or any place that has computers or laptops or tablets, hog wild. Put the Nerdtastic on.
Did you, like, put it as the homepage on, like, all the things, too? And, like,
no,
the
I just put
website?
it on and started playing an episode and then turned the volume up.
Now,
on
if you
all
could
of
change
them.
all the wallpapers to R,
Yes.
even
Guerrilla
better.
marketing.
Yeah.
And what you should really do is steal a couple of those computers and then just bring them back here, and we can sell them on Craigslist and use that money to hire more listeners. That's the real thing.
Then you get the khakis, then you get the chicks.
I was going to say, right now I'm on lettuce. Soon I'll be on fries. And then assistant manager. That's when the big bucks start rolling in.
So are we just going to sit here, or are we going to talk about how bad the PS4 announcement was?
I knew Sean
there were
could
no
pull it
women.
out.
It was terrible.
Shouldn't we end on that since it was so
Oh,
good?
God. It's just the worst.
I say we dive in.
Well, I mean, the only real thing you can say about it is it was a 2-hour announcement for the PS4
And what a sausage fest.
with no PS4.
No PS4.
There was no sign of it.
Jay, go ahead, break it down. I got to hear this.
Yeah, you're the PlayStation
Talk
guy.
about the opening that was just made for you.
What part of it?
When they brought out an engineer to talk about
No,
engineering.
well, first, that was my favorite part because every time there's a press conference, Apple or Sony or whoever, they always bring out an engineer, and he always looks like he hasn't slept in about 8 years, and he can barely get through his slides. But it was they basically brought this guy out, and he talked about the architecture of the PS4, which sounds super cool, but like,
Was it anything we didn't know already?
No, there was nothing new in there. The 8 gigs of unified memory.
He went crazy. He, like, literally, I saw him get an erection in his pants when he said 8 gigs of unified memory.
Well, that's because I
was like,
I don't think the PS3 had
What
unified
does that
memory,
go for?
and that was like
$25?
it was like I don't know,
30?
$400.
$30.
Dozens of dollars. Dozens.
Special Sony RAM cost double.
Yeah.
Plenty of singles.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like the whole thing, I thought there were some cool points, but there wasn't anything that we didn't expect. The other thing though, like they announced that you're gonna be able to play a game as it's downloading was one of the things that we'd mentioned. We were talking about the new Xbox, which I thought was kind of cool. The suspend and resume stuff. I don't know if it's multitasked, but basically you can like press the power button in the middle of a game and it'll like go into like suspended state and then come back, which I think is kind of cool. But this is like, there's nothing that we were talking about this earlier. Like, there's nothing that I was like, oh my god, this is.
What did you think of
amazing.
the controller with the little touchpad?
I thought that was a joke when the prototype came out, and then they showed the
It
exact
looked
picture.
like a joke. When he pulled it out, I was like, oh, you got to be shitting me.
My big thing though was like, you hold it like this, and then you're gonna have to like do. The only thing I could think that it would be used for is to just do swipes, because you're gonna have a thumb that is not. It's not like.
There seemed no use to that.
Yeah, so that and then the other thing I thought that was kind of cool was the built-in move support into the controller and the personal identification thing, which I guess is the same thing as Xbox Live anyway, like the way they like an Xbox Live. But I guess maybe the controller you'll be able to move your games from console to console with the controller.
Well, I thought it was crazy that both big consoles, like not the Wii, but Xbox and PS3 now are going to have built-in depth cameras. Like, who last generation, if you said that before Kinect came out, if you were like, hey, you know what both of these major consoles are going to have? Fucking depth cameras. You would have been like, you're an idiot. Like, that's the dumbest thing on earth. And that's like, oh, no, they both have them.
Yeah.
They both have crazy cameras that can sense depth.
I hope they start doing.
What?
I hope developers start doing like cool things with like sort of sensing. Oh, this was the other crazy thing that just reminded me of the predict. Did you guys see the part where they're going to predict what you want to play and download it for you, so that when you buy it, it'll already be downloaded. You don't have to wait for it.
So all of a sudden, you're going to see your drive and I guess unallocated space all of a sudden filling up randomly. Like, what the?
Well,
I'd like to see them figure out what I want. I buy everything. I don't even know. They're going to go like, I don't know. Like, there's going to be one game they're not going to download for me.
I want all the things. Just download the whole internet.
Holy shit, he just wants everything.
So John, one of the guys on the email list that we're all on, he posted this thing that Kotaku announced about there were no women presenters at the PlayStation reveal. And a lot of people are tweeting about the fact that there were no women there at all.
Isn't that like every Apple
Does that
conference?
I guess it's starting to matter to people. I don't know why they're tweeting about it. They just happen to roll across.
Microsoft usually has
Were you
a
interested
girl
in
or
the
two.
Were you interested in the presenters at all? Like I was only there for the information.
Well, there were no women, so no.
I was super
Exactly.
interested in David Cage. That was like the best.
Broken English.
You
can't get enough of broken English at Sony press
The
announcement.
best part about him talking was like, oh my God, now we have enough polygons to express emotion. And it's like, I think that's not true at all. Like,
There were no games. Like, there was nothing. Like, their biggest game was Killzone, which is like when they announced Killzone 2 for the PS3, it was like, oh, they're going to go after Halo. And then I think that when they released 2 of them and nobody gave a shit, that they would have been like, I guess nobody wants this.
I think
I
they're
wouldn't say
big.
nobody gave a
I
shit,
think the
but-
well,
Not
many
It wasn't
people.
Halo.
the two big game things I thought were big for them were at the very end, and that's one, Blizzard coming to the console. That's huge. And
Coming
then
back to the console.
Yeah, we
Bungie
forget that
going to
Diablo 1
Sony.
was PS1.
you mean the Destiny stuff?
Yeah,
Did they
just
show
the
that at
fact,
the press
just-
conference?
They
Yeah.
did. They
did?
showed it. Yeah, just the fact Bungie being just Microsoft heavy their entire existence, and then same with Blizzard just being a PC company for so many years. So I think that was their big things. Mm-hmm. Honestly, every game there, I thought we saw at E3 last year. For some
Right.
reason.
Well, the
Some
thing
of
too,
which we actually
we
did.
did, didn't we? Did we see Watch Dogs?
Watch Dogs
Which is still awesome.
Yeah, it's still awesome. But I was saying this earlier. Like the thing is, the reason why I put up Nintendo Land for Game of the Year last year was because it's a different play style, and I didn't see anything in there that wasn't a third person or first person shooter action adventure game that had something new. You know, like at least with Nintendo Land or the Wii U, there's a new way to play. 5 people, one person's got more information than everybody else. That type of thing I think is cool. I want to see if Sony's going to come out with something like that. I don't know what it would be, but that's what interests me.
Did you like any of the gimmick things? Like the sculpt, and I feel like Microsoft did the same thing with Kinect. It's like they give you, like, their tech stuff is like, we're going to give you these gimmicks, and here's a Kinect that sort of tanked. I mean, a bunch of us here have it, so it's sold.
I mean, it's sold
I think
like
it's
25 million copies or something. It's a pretty big success.
Yeah, I think for Microsoft, what the Kinect was too is Microsoft's always one generation. Like whenever they announce something, it always sucks until the second version. Like Xbox Live 1 sucked. Like the arcade, was just kind of like, oh, it was a disc and it was this, and then Xbox Live Arcade on the 360 was amazing. So I'm like kind of excited for Kinect 2 because I'm like, oh, well, they put out this thing and it's sold, so they have to make another one, and maybe they'll make a non-shitty one. I mean, maybe.
Well, what I was going to say earlier, too, before I got on the predictive thing, is that I think it would be great to see if developers can utilize the Kinect, since it's always going to be connected and always on.
Yeah.
And same thing with the PlayStation Eye or whatever it's
Move now,
called.
yeah.
To, like, do stuff while the player's playing to track what you're doing, and I don't know exactly what it would be, but just utilize it in a different way than just make a game where you're controlling everything by your hand.
All of a sudden, there'd be a shitload of Dorito that's popping up on my screen. Motherfuckers eating Doritos nonstop. Hey, buy Dorito. How the fuck does it know I'm always eating Doritos when I play this?
Well, what about the Creep Fest? That is, so they bought Gaikai, which, I think that Gaikai, they came out and did a huge talk about it, but there wasn't really that much cool information aside from we're going to release this in phases. One day this is going to be amazing. But they did announce the creepiest thing ever, which is not only can I look at your games, like if Jay's playing a game on PS4 and I'm on PS4, I can go and watch where he is. If he's allowed me. And they had to, it was so creepy.
Watch where he is.
I
in
can
the
watch
game.
your gameplay.
I can
like
live
the
watch him
streaming like we
streaming.
were talking about. Okay.
But that's not it.
But that's not it. And this is why, and just to let me just preface this by saying every time the Gaikai guy, every time David Perry had to say something, he would go, if they allow it.
Yeah.
Because it was so creepy. He's like, so I can watch Jay playing. Oh,
If
so
they
you can
allow
watch a streaming video of him playing. Well, yeah, that too. But then I can also watch a picture of his face because the camera will be streaming him live playing.
That's not it. You can also take control with your controller of their character.
If they allow it. If they allow
If they allow it.
So if you're in the middle of a multiplayer
Yes.
session, I'll be like, hey, dude, switch over, tag team it in.
I think
And
that's
I
kind
can
of
just
cool,
take
though.
That's
control of that character.
awesome.
There's a cool. And
Let's
that's awesome.
Eiffel Tower this bad boy.
Now, listen. On a non, to play devil's advocate on that, as somebody who does live streaming for Black Ops, I actually had set up to do that. So I have a camera, like I could set up. So if somebody wanted to watch my jackass playing, it works.
I might be really entertaining.
It actually,
It's so fucking
it
angry.
actually, it's kind of funny.
would love
You
it.
would be entertained.
No,
You'd
I
be much
think
more
it would be
entertaining than
cool.
myself, and they have that in Black Ops 2 now using the Kinect. If you have a Kinect with the new streaming
Really?
update that they have in there, you could turn it on. What I was telling Jay before the show, what's shitty is you could either go to YouTube or Twitch TV if you have accounts set up, and it'll stream live. They prefaced that, though, I guess, with them being worried about the amount of users who'd want to do this. They were worried, I guess, about bandwidth. So, like with Twitch TV, if you don't hit a certain number of viewers watching your live chat, you get like 15 minutes. You get like a game worth, and then it kills the feed.
Wow.
And then you have to reset it and do it again. So, like, if you guys are following our Nerdtastic Twitter feed, when it comes to that I'm streaming, if it comes to multiple times, it's because that shit sometimes shuts off. I'll look at it and be like, well, let me set that up again and send it back out. So if they can do it better than that, it'll be awesome. Well, that's no, I think YouTube does it too.
Well, they're in with Stream. What is it?
Ustream.
Ustream.
Yeah.
They're in with Ustream. I guess is like built in.
Yeah.
And then they're also with Facebook. Like they're tied in really close with those. And there's no more gamer tags. It's real names.
Well, no, they said they caveated and said that there will be gamer tags, but they were really pushing the real names and sharing socially.
yeah, they want real. They want it to be Facebook.
So, La Bravo. That's it.
Banana grabber.
So,
Isn't that your God-given name, Banana
Yeah,
Grab?
I'm trying to get it changed. But 61 is the hard thing to get through the government. They're okay with banana grabber, but it's last name being 61. What's
So
the
I wrote
roadblock?
down just some random highlights I thought were maybe interesting talking points. I think you've hit most of them. That power out of or power on and off of the game, but the game still you can pick up exactly where you left off. Because how many times I'll be playing a game and then I'll want to switch over to Netflix when my wife comes downstairs, and I want to go back and pick up the game exactly where I left off after she goes to bed. And that's a process, right? You have to shut it down, the app, and then go in the game and launch that, and it starts all over again. So regardless of the platform, I mean, both, like you said, are talking about. It's a cool idea.
I wonder if that is what they mean, though, because I don't know if they said it exactly. They just said that you can hit the power button, and I don't know if it means that there's multitasking where you can put a game into the background, or if it's just like you can suspend your system and then
right.
for some reason, I don't know why you'd want to
think
do
the
that.
thing
Doesn't it do that now when you walk away?
No.
The screen goes dark like the Xbox. Doesn't it do that? Like
I mean, you could
suspend?
leave it on pause. Theirs is that it puts it down to a really low power. Like it's like pretty much off. It's like a sleep rather than just like leaving it in permanent pause.
So one thing we haven't talked about yet, which is I actually laughed out loud when I saw this live stream come through, which is that they were talking about how they spoke to developers.
Oh yeah.
A dozen around the world. That's what they said.
But I was thinking to myself, I was
dozen.
like they were advertising this as though it was a novel idea. Like, hold on, you're going to build a console and not talk to developers? Like, I don't even think that's worth advertising. The fact you're advertising makes me really concerned about the previous generations of your console.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of the stuff they were super excited about the architecture stuff because the PS3 and the cell processor were more difficult to develop for and the non-unified memory. And so I think a lot of what developers were telling them was like, just give us the out-of-the-box stuff that's super powerful and awesome, and we'll make awesome games for you.
I think it was their way of saying this system isn't as powerful as the PS3 was at its time,
generation.
and that this is why it's a good thing, though. Is basically they want to come out and go, listen, last time we had this system that we were like, this is the most powerful thing on Earth. Now we're like, it's just kind of like everything else. But it's a good thing that it's like everything else. And
Right,
it seemed like that was their big selling point.
I think
for this one.
John, our buddy John, who's a game developer, I think that was his point, right? How excited he was. He's like, this might actually be easy to make games for now.
The one thing you can say about Nintendo is that they're pioneering new gameplay experiences, right? Like the Wii was different.
Yeah.
Whether you liked it or not, it was different. And the Wii U, it's different. That second screen, they're the first to market to have that second screen experience, right? So regardless of whether you like it or not, they're innovating in the controller space and the user interface space. I would argue that Microsoft took a leap with the Kinect to do the same thing, right? There was the PlayStation Eye, but not with the depth sensing, right? So they took a big leap to do that. PlayStation 4, they announced it has depth cameras. Okay, already been done. They announced second screen. right, on like a little controller, already been done. There's nothing revolutionary at all there.
But playing devil's advocate to it, I do feel like this is going to be a really interesting generation because everybody's going to be doing something different. Whereas last generation, it was like the Wii was totally different, and the PS3 and Xbox were kind of like serving the same purpose. And I feel like now it looks like Microsoft's going to push way more into we want to be an Apple TV,
center.
we want to be a media center, we want to where you watch Netflix, where you watch TV, and where you play games. And then the Wii is going to be the same, like, this is kind of crazy, and it's about, like, new experiences. And so PlayStation is, like, looking at their niche, being like, we're making a video game console. And I felt like they didn't, their, like, pitch wasn't that. But when they started showing off the console, that's exactly what their system is. It's like, it is when they were like, it's not about buying a box anymore. It's like, no, that's what you guys are selling is a big box.
It came across as still a video game system. And,
Yeah.
and that's definitely different than I think Microsoft's MO now.
Which
Or
is
as Eric
ironic.
said, it's
because-
a 3-year-old PC.
Well, it's ironic because the only thing
buying
that I
a
got out of the
3-year-old
PS3 was a media center.
Yeah.
I come back to, I hear what you're saying. I just come back to the idea that in the actual controller user experience space, PlayStation hasn't done anything creative.
No, it's true.
The Move they copied from, it's an HD Wii.
Yeah.
You know,
Well-
there's just nothing innovative coming from them, I think, in the controller space.
Yeah, I mean, but
What do we want?
I got no rebuttal. So
Yeah,
I'm
well,
just gonna-
no, my opinion, my rebuttal would be, let's say you, Jason, what would maybe you want out of a controller?
Honestly, I have no idea. The reason I say that is just a lack of innovation in general. Like, I haven't...
There's a touchpad on the controller.
For me personally, I still think a straight-up dual-stick controller is my preferred. I don't like the mouse and keyboard. I'm not going to play hardcore games with the Kinect. So the straight-up dual-joystick controller, which both have, is fine for me. Or all three have, I guess. But it's like a lack of, like, pizzazz. There's nothing
because I
exciting.
think what happens
I don't
when
know if you saw that you can plug in headphones to the controller now in the PS4.
You can do that on the Wii U.
LEDs
I
everywhere.
do that all the time.
I think that's the
They've
thing.
done
That's
that with
their
the
Xbox.
I-
Where can we
Day
put more
one.
lights?
I think the innovations are now just gimmicks, like
Yeah.
that touchpad. I'm not gonna lie, I'm with you, Jay. As soon as he pulled it out, I was like,
you
"Yeah, that's
kidding
a
me?
sticker, and that's coming off."
Well, the interesting
It's not
thing, though,
real,
is
right?
like I say that, you know, but I'm actually excited to see if somebody does utilize it well, because it's there now, and it's something that developers can use, and I have to imagine that a lot of them won't use it in very creative ways, but there's going to be some indie developer, some crazy person who just does something crazy with it that's going to be awesome and nobody thought about. So I'm looking for that one game.
You will have to let us all know, since I'm sure you might be for a while the only one who has one.
But the thing is with the
Kearney's gonna buy one.
I'll buy
course.
one
No,
day
well,
one.
Kearney
I buy
will. I
everything.
know.
That means nothing. I will be the first person to say I was so disappointed by this, and in the same breath I'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna buy it day one. It comes out in November, great. Where do I sign up? Like, this is what I
Shut
do.
up and take my money.
Yeah. But my big thing with this is that every single thing they announced, I was like, that's cool. I was like, I'm down for the suspending game states. I'm down for the stream. This sounds great. It would have sounded really interesting to me if it was a firmware update for my PS3. Like, none of these were system sellers. None of these were like, oh my God. Like, when they announced
they
the
didn't
PS3.
show you the system.
But yeah,
That's
but when
like
they,
Siri, though. Siri doesn't operate on an iPhone 4.
No, but exactly. It was more Siri than it was,
doesn't
you
operate
know.
that well on an iPhone 5.
Yeah.
You got a
But
point.
my big thing was with the PS3, it was like, it's in high def. And I was like, wow, my PS2 isn't. This is awesome. You know what I mean? Like, this has a Blu-ray player.
Well,
I don't have a Blu-ray
Your
player.
PS2, you could run in high def.
PS4 will be
Yes.
4K output.
It probably
That
will.
would be interesting.
Is it?
Super HD.
That would
Is
be
it?
interesting.
I
don't
would
know.
imagine.
Probably. I can't imagine.
Now,
it
see
wouldn't
that
be.
now all of a sudden you're talking my language. If it was actually could play since nothing seems to do that now, it would be impressive.
But are the games on Blu-rays? That's the
They'll be-
one.
they'll
This
be
is my
1080p
conspiracy theory. Are the games on discs? Because they didn't show a console. Is the craziest announcement, and I don't think this is going to happen. But what about this crazy world where we get to E3 and we think we've seen everything we could see from Sony, and they go, "Oh, by the way, the console's the controller. It's all in the cloud." Like, what? They
That
bought
would be
Gaikai.
interesting.
I
That's
don't
true.
think they'll do it because I don't know if it's. I don't think it's ready
Well,
yet.
Then they
but-
can go crazy.
But no,
low
because
power.
Yeah.
here's the thing you're forgetting about. There was the architectural diagram that
And it
showed
said
there
hard
was an
drive.
HDD.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have one,
They're going
but
back to
it might be
HD.
interesting because I saw people talking about this.
Resurgence.
My collection
kept
is
all my
finally
discs.
coming back into play.
My 2 discs.
Hells
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you, Josh.
There was some talk beforehand about potentially getting rid of the discs and being download only, and
Yeah.
with the announcement that you can start playing before it's done downloading,
Yeah.
maybe that's where it is.
Maybe there is no discs.
Actually,
no
I
disc
was just
drive.
irritated the fact that they even had this thing to begin with, because for the longest time, Xbox was been very prevalent of saying that, oh, we're going to announce something. It's going to, rumors for that had been way before the PS4, and Sony always said, we're going to wait and see what Microsoft does. We have no rush whatsoever into bringing out this console and stuff like that. We're going to see what they do. And sure enough, they're coming out the same time in the Xbox is.
Yeah.
I think it's,
Do you think that works to their benefit in the slightest? Because I don't.
I think it's going to be stupid. I think it's going to, I think it's a bad move.
I think that it's smart they did it before Microsoft, because I think Microsoft's going to announce something that's more exciting. And I think if they would have come after,
They should have
they would have
announced
lost
and
everything.
sold, like,
I agree
been
with
on
you.
That's a good
sales
point.
soon.
I agree
Just
with you
announcing.
100%.
Now seeing what they released,
Yep.
you're absolutely right.
That like they
Maybe they
somebody
knew.
said that. Yeah,
the
they
only,
were like-
the only
It is-
pizzazz
it is
they
the-
had is to make the announcement first.
Yeah.
That's the only pizzazz.
Yeah.
because they're
they
going to
had.
get all the news for at least the next month until Microsoft holds their press conference.
And then
So
it's
they've
just
got a
gonna-
good
yeah.
month.
But
you know?
and then anything could be more exciting than what was just said.
Microsoft
Yeah.
said Ashante.
PS4.
And they opened the door and said, "Go ahead."
$99.
Yeah.
That would be pretty exciting.
well, have you heard?
I thought that was an actual number.
How about
I was
free?
like,
Have you heard
Jay,
the
where the hell
rumors,
did you
though?
hear that?
The
Jack.
rumors are 430 and 530. So there's going to be two
530.
SKUs, and the highest price SKU is going to be $530.
That's like $70 less than PS3 was when it launched. Like,
know.
wasn't their whole thing like they're trying to charge less?
that. I mean, this is a
They
rumor.
are a little bit.
And
$70. I don't
my-
know if your math works.
My last thing on this is that did
Call
you,
yourself an engineer.
the first
Rusty math.
the first rumor that I've ever seen that I thought was like it was going to happen that was proved wrong was rear touchpad. Everyone said it was going to have a front and a rear touchpad, and there
That
was
would be
no
magical.
rear
It's
touchpad.
really concerning.
But there's
to
a
me
front
that
one.
You're
Work
doing
both
this.
sides,
This
like-
is the
Rear
rear
touchpad.
touchpad.
Yeah.
Well, I will say, like, the rear touchpad on the Vita, I thought was like, oh, who's going to use that? And then I can't remember the name of the game, but some company just came out with a game where, like, the whole point of the game is that you're basically like pressing on it and your like fingers going into the world, but as like something else, and it's a very
Your finger in the world.
your fingers going into the world.
You're touching bombs. It's called finger bang.
Just
Never
you can't
mind.
come back from that.
And
So
click,
there's one
podcast
other
done.
there's one other quote from the thing that I wanted to talk to you a little bit about. I just don't quite
up?
get it. It's the quote is, as you know, spectating has become has become very popular in our industry. It's our job that PlayStation makes that even better. Is spectating really a part of like gaming?
I have to
is
be
an
honest.
interactive
when
experience,
playing
dude.
multiplayer and you join the party, but you can't join the game yet because it's still in session. I want to watch the game, and I can't. So for that particular part of it, I would love it, but I wouldn't just sit around and watch people play games on
Oh,
the TV.
just like
all
while
the
you're
time.
waiting.
Well, because I wanted
Yeah.
to know on that lines, I wanted to know what that meant. Like, are they thinking, "Hey, these are all the people uploading COD footage to YouTube"? Is that spectating, or is this a live thing? Like, hey,
Spectating feels like
Adam's
it's
going to play
live.
tonight. I think I'm just going to sit around and watch him play.
That sounds like a good idea. I mean,
It's a little of both,
A lot of
maybe.
people want to watch me play.
Because you can be in the game right now. The second part
all
about
over.
spectating now
The
is
game.
you have to be in the game, and you basically you give up your spot. You don't give up your spot. Like, so if it's
Yep.
8-on-8 and one person wants to spectate, it's basically 7-on-8.
Yeah.
Like, you can't sit there and have an 8-on-8 game and then some
But
other people
is that what they
Let's all
mean by
do that.
spectating? You're watching it live
Well,
by
that's
being a part of it?
that's a good point. And
I don't-
I was going to say there is what Josh was
Jumbotron.
talking about, or you could, if they're trying to say they want to get more into the streaming community, because PlayStation on the streaming community has a very, very small. I mean, it's pretty much dominated by PC and Xbox.
I will say that the context of this was more along the lines of the magical share button that's coming to the
What was that again? I saw
DualShock.
it.
Well, so
What's the idea behind
one of
that?
the other things that they're doing is they're basically recording. I don't know what the number is, but the last N minutes of your gameplay.
10 seconds.
Is it 10 seconds?
Yeah,
So the
I
last
believe
10
is
seconds
what
of your
they
gameplay.
announced.
And so when you hit share, I believe you can bring that up and then take that 10
Edit
seconds,
it.
edit it or whatever, cut pieces out, and then share it to wherever. Which I thought was kind of interesting because like I'll probably never use it, but like I don't know, just the fact that they're like somebody they. I can't imagine they were just like, oh, this would be really cool. Like I
No,
imagine
it's
there's
a
a use case
huge
for it.
market on YouTube. Period. And it's been like that for a couple of years and it's only gotten more so with just commentaries and just gameplay footage. Pretty much any game that's out now, you could go watch almost the whole game.
Yeah, and people like to record their walkthroughs, speed runs,
All that
stuff.
crap, dude, and it's all out there. And they've kept making it easier and easier and easier. And then you have sites like Twitch, which is solely gaming, that have become hugely popular. I mean, honestly, dude, like the views of people. Like, if you're a girl, if we have any women listening to this, and you want to get any kind of publicity,
Play a video game.
Play a video game.
It doesn't matter how
with a
shitty you are
webcam
at it.
on you.
Play a video
Holy
game.
crap! Dude, one night I'm looking. I'm like, well, I got 3 people watching my stream, and I go to the main lobby to see who's playing Call of Duty. I'm like, dude, 1,500 people watch. What is this? And it's some chick wearing this low cut, purposely wearing this low cut shirt. It's just sitting there nerdy with headphones on playing, but the camera's mounted to just take in the cleavage. And you're watching the game, but you're like, seriously, this is all I want to watch all day. She's got an Xbox controller, headphones, and cleavage, and killing it. Her like live stream was like just nothing but dudes like, you're amazing,
Hey,
you're the best.
hot women
thing
are
ever.
capable too. All right.
She was killing it.
Sexist.
Jay used to be
Killing
a hot
it.
woman.
And now I'm not capable anymore.
I don't know. I think
made a
both.
huge
I think
mistake.
both consoles and even Xbox talking about having a PVR really adds to being able to do that, because right now to do any kind of
Personal
streaming or-
video recorder.
Oh.
VR.
I just thought I was going to have
PVR.
a
Blue ribbon.
built-in,
I was like,
watered-down beer.
DVR.
I was like,
It
interesting.
has a
because I have to have
dispenser. It
extra
just-
hardware
in.
to do that.
I think
now.
I'm in.
I guess.
Yeah, it
comes with
just
beer,
it
I guess
sprays
I'll
you
buy
with
it.
beer every time you
That's-
push your button.
that's
It's got the
4D.
beer button on it.
That's the fourth.
That's the fourth dimension. It's the
So-
beer dimension.
Josh,
Yeah.
what do you think of? Why don't you tell us about Project Destiny?
It's a big game. Make us buy
And on to the next topic.
Basically, it's a,
It's gonna be on the PS4.
Bungie's next
Is it?
game.
Oh, their big
It is.
world.
Their
dealio.
big
Is it gonna be on
thing
PS4?
since
It
after the Halo
They were
franchise.
happy about that.
And because the game is so basically big and epic, they needed the entire team and studio to do it. That's why that was one of the reasons why they just released doing any of the Halo games anymore, because they wanted
Because
the
it doesn't
entire
look
team.
like Halo at all.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's completely different.
But it's
This
it's
one
supposed
takes
to be like
place
a
on
combination
another
of like,
planet?
yeah, like some MMO. It's supposed to be like Borderlands. It's supposed to be like Halo. It's supposed to be but
So here's the little
Sounds
synopsis.
very excited.
well, it's kind of like
It's kind of Halo. It is kind of Halo's new brother. Jason told me about it. I had to watch it to believe it. It's Halo.
exactly. You had that the Didac sphere. Now you have this basically big kind of sphere moon thing
Even
hanging over the
intro
last city
into
on
it,
Earth.
Destiny.
Dylan.
Here's the little synopsis.
Dylan.
Hit by an unknown force that nearly wipes out all of humanity, Earth's
flood?
survivors take salvation. Earth's survivors take salvation under a mysterious orb that hovers over the planet. This orb, referred to as the Traveler, is a roof
round.
to the final
Oh, the
safe
orbiter?
haven for humans.
Oh, there's aliens.
But as time passes and humanity begins to lift itself out of extinction, they learn they are not alone.
Oh.
Huh.
Because the floods returned?
Now, here's the thing. To Josh, and I asked Jason this at the house, and this goes to you, Josh. You two being, and Kearney's in there a bit, and Sean
I'm gonna
too.
buy it.
Are you excited because, hey, it's like Call of Duty kind of thing? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. They just gave me a cool new Halo to play franchise over and over and over again. Or are you like, okay, fucking give us something new. Give me something new.
No, I mean, if you want new or you want something different, there's plenty of other games to go.
Yeah.
It's got a new name.
Yeah, it's got a new name. It's gonna look pretty.
It's an expansion pack.
I'm interested to see how it incorporates, as it says, kind of the massive multiplayer aspect to it. Almost, I would say, kind of maybe like Star Wars: The Old Republic, but without it being like strictly kind of an MMO sort of thing. So I don't know. It'll be interesting.
They ruined the announcement by over a year ago teasing something that gave away what they were after. And the tease was basically they had this idea, wouldn't it be interesting if there was something that Bungie did really well, first-person shooter, but it was set in an environment that didn't turn off when you turned your console off. That was what they announced like a year and a half ago.
Oh, and it just kept going. Yeah.
Of course, they just announced the game. That they announced their whole plans.
first-person
It's
MMO.
like
It's a first-person MMO. Like there's
it's like Bethesda meets Bungie and they get together and make Halo everywhere.
I mean, it's an interesting idea.
Which
It's
even attracts me. I think it's a cool idea if you legitimately can cross the lines of
I
the problem
like-
of first-person shooters,
yeah.
which is latency when you have
Right.
64 people on a damn server.
Here's the
How you
one.
get around that?
Here's the one thing
Bots.
that I think is a big miss so far that they've announced. So, I think one of the big successes of Halo is the Master Chief. He's an unfaced, unknown character that everyone can kind of imagine what he might look like or who he is and project themselves into that character.
He's a woman.
I always imagine it's Adam McFarlane.
Destiny says,
They modeled him after me.
unlike its Halo franchise, Destiny does not focus on a single hero. Instead, Bungie has placed its attention on giving players the ability to create their own guardian.
Too many notes.
It seems like they're catering towards the multiplayer aspect of things
now-
and seeing what Activision does. Say we want that money.
And
We need that paycheck.
Is that gonna be like the cool stuff, like in Grand Theft Auto, where you could have like a closet with different costumes and you can go change?
And you
That
could get
sounds pretty
really
cool.
fat,
Yeah.
and then you could work out a bunch and be
Yeah.
like a tank.
You get your cornrows in.
But you have to.
And get your cornrows. Can you get cornrows in Destiny?
But I
Or
mean,
dreads.
as a
The
studio,
Predator
it's like,
dreads. I'm into that.
I'm into that.
Bungie was so successful with the Halo franchise, and they did it well, So it's just like doing this is like part safe, because it's just like you already have this kind of core, fan base like built in, and so you give them a little bit of that, and then you try to be, a little bit more outside the box and see, if it doesn't mesh
like
well.
It makes sense
calculated
though,
risk.
right? Because like the people who make Call of Duty, they're not making any other games. They're making Call of Duty games because they're good at it.
Yeah, but they gotta make sure that their release doesn't die because they can't hold the amount of people that
Yeah.
want to play the game.
But see, and
Like,
I
that's-
wonder you brought up a good point. So let's talk about like Infinity Ward. When the two guys who created Infinity Ward and actually created Call of Duty got axed and took everybody with them who they took to start their own studio, what are they going to make? And that's going to be the same kind
Well,
of thing.
didn't they?
Are
Aren't
going
they
to
Sledgehammer?
No, they're
make? No,
respawn.
they're Respawn.
Oh, they're Respawn.
They haven't
Okay.
made
And they haven't
anything
announced
yet.
Yeah, clever.
So I'll be curious to see if they make
Clever.
War Man 2013. You know what I mean?
They're gonna do Carl.
And you have to remember.
Carl.
Well, you have to remember where
Winslow.
the Call of Duty team came from. They made Medal of Honor.
Yeah.
And they left EA, and they were sick of doing. They were just sick of working for EA. Went to Activision, made Call of Duty, and were sick of making World War II games. And that's why they made Modern Warfare. It was a deal.
Maybe they're
that
going to come
Activision
out.
made with them.
Maybe they're going to come out with the SEAL Team game.
Oh, I'd play that.
I would too.
So I mean, I can understand you
kidding
stick with you stick
Be
with what
amazing.
works,
Right.
Obviously, you're doing it. My thing is it so much that they're doing like the same kind of thing? I think it's kind of comical, but is the very very curious about the MMO aspect and how on a console how the FPS style first person shooter stuff is going to work with just that many people and that big of world. I don't it. It even struggles in Battlefield.
Yeah.
When you have 16 on 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing too is like when you look at company specific technology, like their engines were built around a type of game. Like even the Unreal Engine, which supports a lot of different things, was built around a third person shooter. So the games that you can that they can focus on and really make a great game in a couple years are going to be those types of genres.
And
so.
it's only in this industry, I feel like, that we expect people to change up. Because imagine I never wanted to see Led Zeppelin put out a classical record. You know what I mean? But when
they do it,
that would have been
sucks.
Yeah, it
it
would've
would have been
sucked.
sick. Am I the only one who thought it'd be awesome?
But I feel like that's something that comes with films, that it's every year Steven Spielberg makes a new movie and you're like, ooh, it's a historical movie, ooh, it's an action movie, ooh, it's a this, and it's we kind of put that on games too, of why don't you try something new? And it's well, I don't know, maybe it's more like music where, man, this team knows how to make kick-ass shooters. So I don't, because I agree, I'm just kind of another game. But then on the other hand, I'm I don't even know what I want.
Right, exactly.
That's probably what I want. Maybe I'm. As I was watching the PS4 thing, I kept thinking maybe I'm the problem. I think it's me.
This is amazing. I suck.
Yeah, this is really
This is
cool.
what we've been waiting
and
to hear
I'm
from
an
you for-
asshole. It's I'm just sitting there going man, look your stupid thing. Hey, you got all excited about your GPU, and then I was yeah, this guy's probably really smart, and it's probably gonna kick ass, and I'm gonna buy it, and I'm probably gonna really enjoy it. So fuck me.
That's good stuff.
I like that. I like that.
Speaking of GPUs that never get used, Sean, have you opened up your XI3
I
box?
have. I opened up my XI3. So I bought an XI3. I opened it up.
Audrey, thank you again.
How many weeks
Yes,
ago
thank
was this?
you, Audrey. 4-ish? I don't know.
Months.
Literally, we worked on this, talked to her. We want to talk about
Yes.
the product. Sean gets it. I'm like, we look at the box.
All right,
that's
so
cool.
in
Open
my
the sh-
defense, I had family in town when it arrived. So I was like, well, shit, I can't do anything
No.
with it now.
That's a family project.
and he's the only person alive who family goes to bed, I guess he goes to bed. Because me, I'd be like, hey, Dad, 9 o'clock, go to bed. I got crap to do.
It's been it's been exhausting. But anyway, yeah, I got it out. I got it unboxed. I hooked it up. Everything's good. It came with OpenSUSE, which I don't really know that distribution, so I replaced it with Ubuntu. I got everything configured except for my Samba shares, and then I bought an external case for with eSATA from Fry's, and
because
I got it
come
home
with a hard drive.
No, it comes with a
very
64 gig hard drive inside of it, but I wanted to transfer my server drives because it's got all my media on it and my music. I can't. And this is one of the reasons that I didn't do it is because I listen to my music daily at work, and that's hosted on my server, and I didn't want to get that. I didn't want to not transfer that and have everything not available. So I waited. Yeah, but I get the Fry's. I buy my enclosure. I put it over the side until the weekend because I wouldn't have time to do it anyway. And then I bust it all out. I'm like, yeah, cool. It's gonna be grand. Transfer the over. It'll be done. Boom. And the fucking hard drive enclosure doesn't have the adapter that goes from the power adapter to the wall plug. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I go get one of the 50,000 that I have just hanging around the house and plug it in, but it's not the right wattage. So now I can't even use that thing. I got to take it back.
2 months later,
so I can't transfer. I can't transfer my
Hate
hard
when that
drives over
happens.
to it. But it's a sleek little machine, man. I haven't done a whole lot with it, but it took all of this stuff that I wanted to do lickety split. So I'm just waiting
For the
to get
size
it all
of like
plugged
a
up.
softball.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty neat.
So
it's
I-
actually sitting
plus
on
this-
top of my really, really gigantic computer. It's just like, what's up, buddy?
You need to take a picture of that. We need to get a
Piggyback.
picture of that up
Yeah.
on Facebook.
So I guess software is crazy expensive in Australia.
Yeah, what's up with that shit?
Really?
Yeah.
Did you
You
know
know,
that?
you know what else is really expensive in Australia? Beer.
Is it?
It's
Coffee.
Like, it's like $50 for a case of beer.
But I heard the hookers run
Beer.
cheap in Australia.
$50 Australian.
Well, no,
beer.
that shit's like $20.
Oh, okay.
Foster's is free.
Well,
there, I thought.
apparently the government subsidizes software development there. So so colleges, the college of, I think Sydney University has like an agreement with the Australian government where they will create software, like understudy software, and license it with the government, and then it's like legal software licensed through the government. It's really weird.
So there's been a lot of press lately about there's a lot of companies that are going to court in Australia, being called to court. Like I think Adobe.
Don't they hate the
Autodesk.
internet in Australia as well?
I don't know.
They hate freedom and civil liberties.
That's why they come here and become actors. So yeah, I've just been seeing like news about the the high prices, and I'm like, well, I mean, what is it like $50 more for some software? But so then I saw this one article that summed it up nicely, which is that if you are in Australia and you want to buy the Adobe CS6 Master Collection, so Photoshop, Illustrator, like the whole package that they offer, it is cheaper for you to purchase a round trip ticket to the United States and come here and buy the software and return home than actually purchase the software there. That's how expensive it is in Australia.
It's a tad of a markup.
Yeah, just a tad.
You get
So-
a nice
Get
trip,
a nice
though.
yeah, I was thinking you get a nice vacation.
Maybe they're
out of it.
encouraging you to come to the United States. I don't blame them. It's a
Well,
wonderful place.
I think that I was just thinking about too that part of the issue might be that the value of the American dollar and the Australian dollar have gone down as well. Like when I was over there, it was like twice. It was worth twice the amount. So it was like $5,000 in Australian money was $2,500 in American money. So like I think the price differential kind of equaled out there. Whereas like now they're pretty much equal. And so $5,000 in Australian money is like $5,000 in American.
But nothing's changed.
But nothing's
like,
changed as far as the pricing is concerned.
Interesting.
Oh, wow.
But
It's still messed up. It's still messed up.
But the price is higher, right? It's not just the fact that it's a different currency. Like the price is actually higher.
Yeah,
right?
I think if you isn't it doing the math of
So the
Dollars,
the
yeah.
CS6 Master Collection in the United States costs $2,600. In Australia, it costs $4,300. That's a difference of $1,700. And a round trip ticket from LA to Sydney via Virgin Australia is $1,100, which is a savings of almost $600.
But if you, I mean, if
And you get to go to Australia.
A-okay,
you
USA.
get to go to America.
Other way around.
Yeah.
You get to
You
go
don't
to
get to-
America.
You completely got this opposite.
No, Josh is right because
What
you
you
do get to
could
go
do-
back to Australia
Well, that's
after
true.
you come back
Josh,
from America.
Josh,
But first, you get to go to America.
What you
and I
can
don't
do-
pronounce the A because it makes me sound more American.
what you can do, Josh, is fly from LA to Sydney.
That's what I was
Buy
talking
the
about.
You could
buy the
offer to
CS6
be the guy
Master
that will.
Collection.
You're like a
take it back to you.
software mule. It's genius.
Exactly. I don't
that
need
would
to
be
shove it
cool.
up my butt or anything.
No, you do.
No, you do.
Can you
Yeah,
fit
you
a
do.
flash drive up your ass?
Maybe.
I want to be the
Maybe.
first one
Like
to
you haven't
announce.
tried.
I believe it.
Now listen, I want to be the first one to announce it. Nerdtastic
A flash.
has not gone public yet, but we are going to start selling
Yeah.
software to all Australians listening to the show.
Hey,
for
our
a
show,
low price
our show is free in the United States. $2 if you listen in Australia.
of $3,000 per copy of Adobe Master Suite. It will only cost you $3,000.
Well, let me
And
say
this is Adam. I'll sell it for $500 less than that if you contact me privately.
But
Right-
is,
right
Your
us.
math's wrong,
Thank you.
Adam.
Thank you.
is it
Adam
surprising
McFarlane.
to anybody else that how expensive it is in the U.S.? Maybe I'm outing myself, but
That's pretty expensive.
that's like when I heard that, I was like, wait a second. That shit that I downloaded a week ago cost that much money. I was like, oh my God, I feel guilty now.
That was the saddest part when Jason said
Sean
the
Kerner
story
of Sherman
earlier.
Oaks.
He said it earlier. He's like, yeah, it costs double there. I'm like,
How much
they're
does
paying
it
for
cost?
software in Australia.
Jack goes, it costs twice as much. So what? That's 6 hours to download instead of 3?
Is that hard drive space? What do we put in this? Is that Shroot
Educational
Bucks?
copies?
How many? What's that in Stanley
Yeah.
Nichols?
Stanley Nichols.
And isn't the theory, and maybe this is something that somebody told me to make me feel better about the hypothetical situation in which I might steal a bunch of software, that they overprice all this stuff because they don't mind you stealing. And let's take Maya for example, and I'm asking you
Well,
guys
that's a great
specifically.
example.
I think you
was
missed it
Maya.
right there with they don't mind you stealing.
They
But
don't
keep going.
mind.
No,
Keep going.
listen. No, listen.
That they would say, you would say like someone like Autodesk or whoever does Maya would go, well, it's okay to let a bunch of college kids steal it and a bunch of younger people steal it because they're going to learn on it because they're going to steal it because they can't afford it, and then they're going to learn how to 3D model, and then they're going to get to their job at DreamWorks, and the guy at DreamWorks is going to be like,
You're out of a job.
well, no, he's going to go
Oh.
before he says that, he's going to say, what software package do you want? Do you want 3ds or do you want Maya? And you're going to go, well, I learned on Maya. And then the guy at DreamWorks is going to buy an overpriced copy of Maya that they're selling overpriced because he doesn't care because it's just a swipe of a corporate card. And he's giving it to you because, well, you learned on it because you stole it.
Well, that's fucked up because Side Effects released their apprentice license for Houdini for free. So everyone can learn that for free.
But I would
And
make-
why
yeah.
wouldn't they do that for the other software?
I would make the argument back when I learned my 1.0 when I was a student. Probably
The plea?
between 1.0,
plea?
yeah, 1.0 through I think in
4 or
even
5.
5
Yeah,
or even
yeah.
still
5
now,
or 6.
but probably to 5 there was abundance. And I had talked to a rep who came through when I started teaching at Full Sail about that at one point, and he could say and not say all in the same sentence that copies may or may have not come from
I can neither
Alias
confirm nor deny.
onto torrent sites because they basically and anybody who knows from
They
that
cracked their
era,
own software.
they in essence built their legacy on that being the software that you could get a hold of because Alias never went after any kid on a lawsuit.
True.
They knew if they were going after a lawsuit, they would go after the company who could pay them.
It actually makes a lot of sense because they were coming off of a platform that was a tiered system that
And nobody
started
used
at
Power
that
Animator.
started at $10,000 and it went all the way up to $60,000 for the software.
Here's where I don't think that's true. That
and they
Autodesk did it.
knew that they wouldn't be able to get anywhere near that price for Maya, ever.
I don't think Autodesk did that because for years they had the personal learning edition. It was a full-fledged copy of Maya
had a
where
watermark on it,
it had a watermark in it. So they were offering, here's the full thing. It's just watermarks, so your renders say personal learning edition on them.
They didn't have that until
That was later.
what, 7 years ago?
It
They
wasn't-
had it was like
wasn't a
version
1.0.
3. It was 3.0 through
'Cause I know it was on
8
the
or
first
2008
version I
or
had.
whatever it
Well,
was.
version
like that.
1, I mean, like in their defense,
Nowadays, I
version
don't know what they
1
do.
was literally just a hunk of clay, and you had to mold it, and then you had a physical thing, and then you needed to buy a new copy, which was just clay in a box, right? Because it was in like the
Well, no,
early
you're
60s.
talking about Power Animator. Power Animator was the lump of clay. No, Maya
was a
actually gave
lot
you
of
a
lumps of
GUI.
clay.
Yeah, Maya gave you a GUI.
Did
for
you guys
one.
see? I think it was like late last month that Adobe released the CS2 Complete Creative Suite for free. Anybody could download. It might even still be available, but it's like 5 or 6 years behind the current rev. And I think their idea is just to get you into the program.
I got to be honest. It has only
CS2. It'll only work on computers from 6 years ago.
It's got no undo.
it has only helped now Autodesk, the fact that there were all those copies out there and still easy to get, because that became the software. 3D Max, when I went to school 2000, was still the one to kind of use, because that's the one the game companies were using and whatnot. If you wanted to do movies, was like that's no excess, a softimage. It's like nobody knows that software. That's like $25,000 software. Nobody's using that. So when Maya came around, and all of a sudden it was the software you could literally get at anywhere site you went to, had Maya 1.0 up there to get every fucking site.
Whereas, man, I haven't heard that in forever.
Yeah, I know. I had to pull that one out of the bag. But
From the hack source.
because of that, everybody knew it. And like Sean said, if you went to a studio, it all of a sudden turned. I remember looking for jobs in like late 2000. It was still, most of them were all 3D Max jobs. But then slowly but surely they all started creeping in. Do you know Maya?
Occasional
Do you know Maya?
job in there?
And then everybody after that, it was just like, well, you know Maya. And that became like this. It just became an industry standard, in my opinion. Almost, it felt like overnight, almost.
But why didn't they just to Carter's point? Like, why not just release it for free early on? Then, like, you look at Unity. So Unity's a big game engine that's being used in mobile games heavily, and Unity's done a great job of. I read a big article about when they turned free is when they turned a corner. Like, up until I think it was like 2, 3, 4 years ago, they've been around, I think, for about 5 or 6 years, and then. However long, it was like 2 years in, 3 years into their life cycle, they decided, like, why are we charging for just the personal edition?
Unity.
Yeah, so they put it out for free, and you go to their website, 90% of the top mobile games are made in Unity.
They need to just do Steam sales every, like, couple of months. Be like, yo, you could buy our software for $30, y'all.
See, the thing about
pile
Unity
onto
that's
the
amazing
bandwagon.
is what they do is they say, hey, this is free. There's no licensing. There's anything. You can make $100 million using our
whatever you want.
software. It's all yours. You don't owe us a penny. But guess what? If you want these couple of cool features that are in here, like real-time shadows and stuff like that, make
You
your
wanna
game look a
export to
little
a
bit cooler.
device.
Yeah. Guess what? $1,500.
If you want to
made
remove
$1 million
our logo.
and you're going into game 2, guess what? I can buy 6 of these pro licenses and get some sexier
And I've
features.
played some 10 million. I
10
think.
million. That still has the logo on
Yeah,
it.
so
Powered by
10 million
Unity.
is a game that it was a little indie game, but it did pretty well and like got pretty well known around like mobile gaming circles, and even just normal gaming press covered it. They had the Unity basic splash screen, which meant that they didn't pay anything for it. Apple let them put it on the iOS.
Can you not
store.
get rid of that?
Doesn't matter.
No, you can if you pay for a license.
No, but I mean,
Yeah.
if you don't have
If you don't have a license, you have to have the Powered by Unity.
I think personally,
legally, or you.
I don't think you. I think that the software places it
in there. Yeah,
I think that's just me personally. I think probably in the last 5 years has that become an actual viable business model.
Sure,
You
that
asked
makes
why
sense.
Maya didn't do it.
Yeah.
Honestly, and anybody agree who was in software back then, that was an unheard of business model. And me personally, I would think at 3D software, I think whether they wanted to or not, or whether Alias did it or not, I think it was a kind of ingenious way to get their software to be the industry standard software. Because it was, even back then, it was still easier to get than Max. I mean, you could get Max, but it wasn't as easy as Maya was fucking everywhere.
Why isn't Blender the industry standard? It's been free for years.
Yeah. It's like, why isn't GIMP the industry standard?
Because GIMP sucks.
Power
That's
user
right.
base. I mean,
That's
it's why
right.
Power Animator never took off. It was the premise was there as being cool software, but if you give somebody software that
Do you think-
it doesn't have controls and ease of use, you don't want to use it.
Do you think it has anything to do with like the cost? Like Maya's expensive, right? How much is a copy of Maya now? $3,000, $4,000?
7,500, I think, or 4,500 for the full version, and like 22,000 for the slim down version.
I mean, that's
something like
a
that.
chunk of change. Do you think it has anything to do with the fact that like people feel like they're paying for something, so they're gonna invest?
Absolutely.
This is an investment, so I'm going to learn it. Versus Blender, it's free. I'm going to learn it. I'm not going to learn it.
Well,
I'm gonna waste
especially
it
a
again.
company.
and what studios use.
I think,
Yeah.
and I think
Blender?
it's perceived
Well, that's
value
it.
as
That's
well.
it. Nobody
Perceived, yeah.
nobody uses it, so I'm
For
gonna
a
learn it and go.
company.
I know Blender, and they're like, and
Yeah.
Well,
But I
mean,
think
you
that
for coming
companies
in.
don't use it because of the price. I remember talking to a guy at an Apple store once, and I was talking about RAM.
Did you call him from
I
your
was
phone?
just gonna say,
I called him from my phone.
FaceTime.
FaceTime.
Did you FaceTime?
No, but I asked him. I was saying something about RAM, and he was like, "Don't buy RAM from us." He's like, "Just go and buy RAM at Fry's." This is back now. You kind of have to because the way they build the new Macs. But back in the day, it was like you literally pop the thing off. Pop
You're
the RAM
shitting
in.
me. They found a way for you to have to buy their.
Oh,
RAM.
yeah.
You have to solder. They solder.
You solder it in.
Oh,
now.
those motherfuckers are smart.
But no, but what the guy said about the RAM, because I asked him, well, why do you even sell it? If you're telling me right now, and if like that's the company line is no, don't tell the people to buy RAM here. And he goes, oh, well, we do it because when a Hollywood production comes in and they need to outfit 1 million MacBooks, he goes, they'll pay the premium, and they don't care, and they know that they can get it cheaper, but who the fuck's going to do it?
And mom and pop who don't know any better
are going to do it too. And I think that it's a perceived with them.
Well,
it's that same thing.
with the production thing is they'll go in and they'll do it and they'll pay the premium because they know if anything's wrong,
they can go.
Apple
Exactly,
will
that's true too.
Fix it like that,
and they don't
right?
care because it's not their money. Like it's the same thing. Like when I go to buy something with a corporate card, I don't care. Like I remember going and paying with my corporate card at the Apple Store once, and the guy going, "You get a Disney discount," and I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, whatever, throw it on." Because it's not my money. Like I don't care. You know what I mean?
So I got a vacuum cleaner 6 months ago, and it broke. I took it to a vacuum shop. And the guy's like, "This thing's, I think, how old is it?" I'm like, "I don't know, 6 months." He's like, "Oh, it's still under warranty," and he's like, "The closest warranty shop is like 20 miles away," and I was like,
what's it gonna cost?
Can I get a new one?
How much does it cost to fix it? And he's like, about $80, and I was like, that's not worth my drive. Fix it.
How there's a vacuum shop on right on Van Nuys Boulevard, like right by my place.
that one.
How the hell does that
Yes.
still open? How do those places exist?
The one that's like
Because
right
of
down
this.
by,
Right by the Best Buy.
Yeah.
and
This is
the,
like-
the yellow
idea.
vacuum.
No,
or something?
truthfully,
No idea.
truthfully, if you I took mine to a vacuum store.
I've taken mine too.
what? It boggles my mind.
Because I don't want to pay. I would rather pay $70 for him to fix my vacuum than to pay $300 for a new one.
But you
Yeah,
can get
my
a
vacuum-
Dyson.
my
Why do you have a
Yeah, my-
$300 vacuum?
No,
I've
but
got
the
a
Dyson's
$500
go back.
vacuum.
He's got a $500
I got the Dyson.
Do you vacuum every day? Because I would if I had a $500
It
vacuum.
was pretty. It's,
I am
You'd
one
be
room
amazed.
with
$500
one
vacuum
room
should be
in the house with
vacuuming everything
carpet.
itself.
but
Should come with
I mean,
Consuela, and she should be like, "Oh no, Peter, no,
no. Me, Mr. Sean, not home. Mr. Sean, not home. You buy. No, but I've had to take it too because it had something wrong with the motor, and I took mine into a shop.
Let me say,
He
the
was
old
just- there you
vacuum
go.
shop.
I will say this: it was
The
hard to
old
find.
vacuum
It was,
shopping.
and it was one that had to do with warranty though too. Like
See,
I
just-
checked.
I was just like,
and
That's crazy.
So
That's
they- I
get
crazy
this
that
fixed for
exists.
free to
It's like
drive
a
20 miles, not
donut
worth it.
store.
That's
This is what I'm afraid of. Is I feel
a
like
donut store.
donut shops. How do those things stay in business? I walk in and I'm big donut spender. I walk in like, fuck, I'm buying donuts for the entire office. Woo!
Give me 2 dozen.
Yeah, I walk out there. I've maybe spent $11, maybe, and I'm going. Yeah, I'm buying everybody. How do you stay? Like, I feel like they stay in business because
They're
they
friends,
own their
dude.
building.
Because
No,
you know how
they're
much
friends.
it costs. Do you know how much it costs them to make those donuts?
$10.
6 cents.
Yeah,
But
it's
really,
it's a markup.
like
a
all
huge
the
markup.
time that they're spending in there and how many donuts they
They
have
don't
to
get
throw
paid
away every day.
No, that is indentured servitude.
It boggles my mind.
Gotta make the donuts.
Donut shops
I
are
already
easier
made
for
a
me to
donut.
understand than maybe vacuum shops would be. Because I could say a lot of people in this day and age would say my vacuum's broken. Let's go buy a new one.
buy a new one.
A donut shop, people still
My
like
donut's
donuts.
broken. I'm
You
gonna buy a
spent
new one.
$80 to fix your vacuum. I would argue. I know my vacuum was $150. So
Technically, this is a steam cleaner. So that's
okay, but
FYI.
still, yeah. But I mean, like, I
don't
can
know if that
understand the
Does
Dyson.
that fall under a vacuum shop?
they fixed it.
I just feel
It
like at
sucks.
$150, if the thing breaks and the guy goes, "Well, I'll for more than half of what you paid for this, I'll fix it." I'd just be like, "You know what? I'm done vacuuming." I would just quit.
See, I gotta be honest. This brings up a good point. I have a Dyson too. I don't know what I'd do if it broke. There's a dilemma that I would face to be like, "Ooh, do I want to?" I'm the upgrade guy.
Yeah.
I kind of
Yeah.
want my
Vacuum.
old shit to break
Yeah.
eventually.
My TV's
so I can get
starting
the new
to break,
tech.
and I'm so excited because it was really big 4 years ago, but now it's like kind of medium. And I'm like, if this thing breaks, my wife can't say shit when I go to buy a new one.
Just throw a brick at it.
I'm
Jack,
like,
I don't know
halfway
what
there.
happened.
Jack,
Like a
you're
bird
the
flew in.
you're the kind of guy where if your Dyson vacuum broke, you'd go buy a Dyson bladeless fan.
Yes, because I would. I'd walk down the aisle.
I don't need a vacuum anymore. What I need is
and
the
that hand
fan.
dryer and that hand
Have you
dryer
seen
thing.
that fan?
Yeah.
Who,
That fan's
who
amazing.
in here seen that fucking fan?
It's incredible.
It's a
I've seen
goddamn genius, that fan. And if I walked by and the fan was there before the vacuum,
many people
Jason,
over there.
you might be right. I might go buy the fan first.
That
I'm
fan
ju- I'm
is
just throwing it out there.
The fan.
Are you
Jack is
giggling
right. The
about
fan
the
is
Dyson
genius.
hand cleaner?
They try to negotiate a package deal. I'd hope.
Oh,
You know,
hold
how
on. Do
can
I get
we
the
work-
hand cleaner? The hand dryer? That hand dryer is ridiculous, dude.
Who hasn't thought about sticking their balls in that?
And it's at that height.
Where have you found one to be able to do it?
Oh,
It's at that height. How do you not
nothing.
see
No. I'm always at like the ArcLight has it. There are way
on.
too many
They
people
are
in the
low.
bathroom for me to try to stick
Hold
my
on.
balls in it.
That would hurt.
No,
That would feel good.
No.
That would feel great.
I'm,
wanna dip
my
balls in.
I'm pretty sure it'd feel amazing.
You're very naive,
because
Carter.
the air comes
to think
at it
that
from
would
both
hurt.
sides.
That's what I'm saying. So,
so
it's not
it
like
keeps
they're
it
flopping
suspended.
around. Oh, they're centrally suspended.
It's a vortex
as
system.
you're dipping them down.
Think about the wrinkles that form on my hand. When I look at that, I go like, "Oh my god, this thing doesn't even naturally wrinkle." I can only imagine.
It's a vortex technology that would be amazing.
The problem is being able to get them into it because
No, it's got leg holes. You just put your legs in the thing that you put your hands in.
there's an end. I mean, there's a bottom. It's not like it's just this endless. You're just standing in it.
You're gonna have to work on your splits. Dude.
Yeah, you're gonna have to be able to dip. You're gonna have to have probably two
Your
friends
Van
there.
Damme.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Brandon.
Teabag trainer.
Trainer.
I'm not gonna lie. I would lose my shit if I walked into the ArcLight bathroom.
Adam's in this. Hold on.
Or just anyone. If anyone was in there, just wash my balls, buddy.
I don't think any of these
Adam.
positions are gonna work.
and you're hanging from it like it's literally holding
I'm
you
gonna
up.
I'm gonna have to have two friends though help just to be there to spot me in case things go south.
I volunteer, Pecco.
I'm not gonna be
And
the
they're-
first
I-
Dyson ball sack injury.
I
I'm
go into
not
the-
gonna be that guy.
I go into the
won't be
arc
the
light
last.
just to do that.
I could see the guy behind me going, "Are you really watching him? I'm fucking next."
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Nerdtastic in 3D. Episode number 52.
Jason is speechless for the first time.
Wow. My name is
in a
Jason
while.
Carter.
Teabag trainer.
Jason
Jason
Pecco.
Pecco.
Josh the Brat.
Sean Fennell, I have nothing funny to say.
Sean Kearney. I'll be one of your friends.
I don't think I contributed anything technical at all to this podcast, but I did bring up the balls. And
You made a difference.
Adam McFarlane.
Jack Eckler, and I'm up next.
Thank you so much for listening.
Nerdtastic in 3D.